Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza Ann Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey, Biz Bash babes. It's Elizabeth here with Cami, obviously. We're super excited. We're so excited to be talking today about how the heck do we work together, our systems, personalities, roles, all the good things. And it doesn't even need to be how the heck do we work together. We actually work together very well. Man, I'm just like butchering this intro right now. I'm going to start over.
No. I thought it was fine. Now we have to start over.
Starting over. Hey, Biz Bash babes. It's Elizabeth here with Cami, obviously.
Hello.
Oh my God. I'm going to do this one more time.
I want to say hello.
Right, I know you should say hello. Don't say it like a frog, though. Hello. You were like, hello.
Okay, I'll do it next time. I can't get it together. Honestly, this beginning would make so much sense in the actual episode.
It would. We could just leave it in.
Yeah, but then everyone's going to be like, what in the freak are they doing? All right, here we go.
One more. Hey, Biz Bash babes. It's Elizabeth here with Cami.
Hello.
All right, I'm gonna not include that next time. I'm talking about
I'm not gonna say anything this time.
We will make this a blooper reel. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Biz Bash babes. Welcome back for episode 25. Today, Cami and I are talking about how we work together, our systems, personalities, roles, etc., and all the good things that we have figured out over the past, I guess, couple of years now, which is crazy that it's actually been
3 years, I think.
Yeah. Right. I guess, so we just made ourselves like an official LLC, but that doesn't indicate the amount of time that we've been working together, because it really has been fall of 2017 was the first Biz Birthday Bash, right?
Yeah, but obviously we were friends before that, or it wouldn't have happened.
Yes.
So
friends since 2016. So here we are.
I'm going to share with you guys all about the ins and outs of our friendship and how that kind of filters into our business and how we kind of make that work. And if we get into arguments and fight, what happens, which we never really do. But if we did,
we only argue about dumb crap.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. But before we dive into the episode, I'm going to read a review really quick from iTunes. So this is from Kajal, Cajaal. You guys and your crazy iTunes names, I swear. And she says, I'm so grateful for these friendly voices who help me feel like I'm not alone in my entrepreneurial journey. I have listened to many podcasts over the years and I've always been able to glean something from them, but I finally found my people. Cami and Elizabeth are helpful and open with their information, and just listening to some tips and tricks they have used inspires me to action every time. In fact, during the last episode, I reached out to my favorite company about a collaboration with the tools they gave me. I can't wait to continue to grow my business with a greater focus and their help.
Aww.
I know. Isn't that so awesome? Like, I love when people actually take action from something we've said. I feel like I'm such an influencer.
An influencer in a really good way. Influencer.
Yes, a good way. It's just very cool to see like the impacts.
Yeah, I feel like we're just so scatterbrained today, guys. So just bear with us as we talk about all the crazy things that Cami and I do when we work together.
And every time we start off an episode scatterbrained, it always turns out being absolutely hilarious. So I think this is going to be one of those good ones,
Should be fun.
Gosh, okay.
Yeah, please keep your arms and legs in the ride the entire time.
We are not responsible for any injuries that occur.
To ourselves. Just kidding. So the first thing I did, guys, for this episode, because Cami and I like putting our notes together in a Google Doc, is I copy pasted this Venn diagram from our own website, which I don't think anybody's like really found yet. It's kind of this hidden gem.
It's super cute.
What? It's super cute. Yeah, it is super cute. And if you actually go to bizbirthdaybash.com in our info tab, there's a page that's called About Us. And if you scroll to the bottom, you'll be able to see this Venn diagram. So I was like, here's my contribution to the notes. It was the Venn diagram. And then Cami was nice enough to actually write some things down, because if you guys know anything about us by now, you know that Cami is the notes person and I'm the wing it person.
Yeah, but that like totally plays into how we do work together. And this episode, I was like, oh, this is so selfish of us just talking about ourselves. But I hope you guys can actually glean some things when it comes to working with a partner. And we'll talk about some of the things that we weren't necessarily looking for a business partner when we became friends. It just kind of turned out that way. And like the things that we do have in place in our friendship that led to being good business partners. So ours were just kind of like happenstance. But I think going back, this is what I would have wanted as well. So,
oh, thanks. I think it was very like natural evolution the way that it happened. So we got lucky.
Yeah, we were really lucky that obviously all these things were based on a friendship first, rather than being like, hey, let's start a business together. So
it sounds like we're talking about like a relationship.
I mean, it pretty much is. First. It is. I mean, it's kind of like dating, and then you get married. Like now we're married with our LLC marriage license. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Our husbands have to put up with us talking and like shrieking, and Alex can totally hear Cami like all the way across their house. I know Will can
be very loud. I know.
I mean, we're both kind of loud, so
I know. Jeez Louise. Okay, so let's just talk about our personality types, because I think that'll be a good like segue into everything. So like on the Enneagram, I am a 3 and a 7. I know you're like can't be both, but I'm both because I do what I want. So I'm a 3 and a 7, which is like the achiever and the enthusiast or optimist, something along those lines. Oh shoot, I should have looked it up before we started this.
I know. I'm actually pulling stuff up on my phone right now.
Are you a 3 and a 1? Is that what you are? Or did I make that up?
So everyone, apparently, like the correct thing for the Enneagram is that your number has a wing like directly next to it, but that's totally not how it works for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand the Enneagram like super well, but I do know that my numbers are 3 and 1, which I think makes sense to me.
I mean, that makes perfect sense to me. So like, because our shared number being 3 as the achiever totally comes out with both of our personalities. I think it's just the way we achieve things is totally different. And that's where the 7 and the 1 come into play, right?
Yes, exactly. Because the 7 is more of your free spirit, right? And my 1 is more of like the rule followers notes, like
like the type
scheduling.
Yeah, the type 7 like variety seeking, spontaneous and scattered kind of thing. Like
yeah, exactly. So that's why like I feel like our Venn diagram's a perfect example of that too, because like our 3 is right in the middle. That's our common denominator. Is both super self-motivated, like achievers, business centric, etc. And then we bring all the other funny jazz to the table with our differences.
Exactly. Okay, who said this one time? They were like, oh, so you're the biz and you're the bash. And we were like, kinda, yeah. But like, I don't feel like you're not your only biz and you bring no bash. You know what I mean? But like, I guess if you
okay, but that's actually really true.
Actually, who really said true? That? I don't remember who said that. I don't know.
If you guys said it, can you DM us, please?
It was someone that I was talking to in person. I thought, were you there? Oh. I guess you weren't there because you don't live here. So,
was it Patricia? Maybe she said it to us at dinner.
Maybe it was Patricia. I don't know. We'll think of who it was.
It actually might have been Patricia. If it was you, DM us, or if it was anybody else, DM us. We have to know who it was.
I know, but it does make sense. So you're the biz, I'm the bash, but like. I felt like that was like, oh, but Elizabeth's not like, you're still fun.
I am still fun, but I am also the
Okay, so like when we actually are working together in terms of brainstorming, like this is totally true to our personality types, is I'll just be rambling on in a million different directions, like 1,000 ideas at once. And Elizabeth is like, got it. I got it. And by the time I finish talking, she's like, put it into a spreadsheet, organize it with to-do lists, next steps, and like a goal plan. I'm like, oh, yeah. Or like she'll just fill out, like we'll start a Google Doc and you just put in the dates and then we just like kind of go in and fill in the content. And that's pretty much how like our collaboration works like that. So Elizabeth keeps us so organized and my brain loves it.
I am the organizer for sure.
Yes, 100%. Like we could not move forward with that without you. Like you just make things happen. Like you just bring the action to the table. Or it just gets.
Oh, well, thanks. I feel like we're both though like driven in terms of like ideas because there's different situations where we have different visions for things, right?
Right.
And so that's where we've kind of learned to like respect each other. Like if you say, hey, I have this idea and this vision for like the Stationer Summit, which by this point you guys already know about. Heck yes, and you said I have a vision for this. I'm like, okay, do it, go for it, because you know what you want to get done, and it's going to be awesome. And there's like that trust there too, I guess, of me being able to say, and vice versa, like do what your vision is because whatever it'll be, it will be awesome. And a lot of times, sometimes we make like little tweaks to each other's stuff, but not a ton.
Yeah, we kind of give each other the space when one of us says, I have a vision for how I want this to look. Then we're like, all right, have at it. Like, and if we don't necessarily have the vision, then we go back and forth until we figure out the vision. But if one of us feels very strongly like, I have a vision, which is like literally the words we say to each other, then it's like, all right, go for it. Hands off. Like, and
yeah, like I have a vision, or like, what is your gut telling you?
Yes.
Like we've had that conversation a couple of times, whether it comes to like pricing different things that we're offering or just how we're going to go about something. And we're like, I don't know, but what's your gut telling you like that we should do?
I know. And sometimes we don't agree on something and we're just like, all right, you really trust your gut on like whoever feels more strongly about something. We're like I think of like terms of something, maybe we were pricing something and I was like, no, I'm thinking this. You're like, Cami, I really feel that this is the number. And I was like, okay, I'm going to default this to you because like, you kind of like pick and choose your, not battles, but kind of thing like that, where.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We totally do. Like, we're not going to die on a molehill, right? Like over something that doesn't matter.
Right. Like, remember, okay, so we were making the Stationer Summit website and you were like, I was thinking like these square photos. And I was like, oh my gosh, wait. I was thinking circles and you were like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then we were both like, okay.
I honestly think that could be our biggest disagreement to date. Like when I think about
the curves and you were like, but everything is square. And I'm like,
and at this point, because it's so funny when we're recording this, we actually haven't even put those in place yet, but you can do what you want, Cami.
So we'll see who wins on this one because honestly, it's really not that big of a deal.
Elizabeth wanted squares, guys. Cami wanted circles for the headshot pictures.
So we're doing triangles.
Oh, Lordy.
I know. I did say possibly envelope shapes as well, but I think that's going to be a little bit more annoying, so probably not. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. What will we? Because it'll be live at this point.
Yeah. So you guys can see who won that argument. No, it's not really winning. It was just that we were on different pages. It was the funniest discussion in the whole world because we were like texting about it and just we're on completely different brain like wavelengths, which doesn't happen very often because most of the time we're pretty in sync. Mm-hmm. Like this week we pushed back the podcast recording by a day because we both needed it. We like needed an extra day. And when I was the one to text you and kind of confess like, hey, like, what do you think about pushing it back a day? You're like, oh my God, I was already there. Like I was going to ask you. Push it back.
Yeah, like having that mutual understanding of each other's needs and like workload and schedule, like we are able to be more flexible with each other because we know the work's still going to get done. Like ultimately that falls back on that we trust each other, Like I know even if we skip a day, like it's not like, we're not going to get the thing done. And my work style is like I will procrastinate till like the last second or whatever, but like the stuff will get done. Like
and then it all happens at once, but which is kind of cool. It works well because I do a lot of like legwork up front for launches. And then you're like the Energizer bunny that gets us across the finish line because by the time I'm getting tired, you're like, okay, I'm ready.
You're like done all this stuff. And I was like, well, here I am now. And you're like, oh my God. But it is funny because in our other businesses, like when one of us is busy, the other one might not be. And so like we kind of go through waves in terms of like who's putting more into it. Because sometimes I would like feel guilty when I wasn't putting as much into Biz Birthday Bash, but like we understand, like we both give the same. It's just like at different times, right?
Yeah, no, totally. I think we've had that conversation about like I feel guilty or I feel bad a couple of times, and we always say to each other, "Nope, like that you're not allowed to feel that way. Like it's okay because like when I pull back, you're going to be the one that's kind of picking up the slack." But I can't think of an instance in any of our time so far where I've been like, "Oh God, like Cammie's like not doing anything to
I
help
have
me." Like I've never felt that way.
thought that ever in my life. No, not at
Right.
all.
So it's like, I feel like we're both good. It's all trust because we're just
Mhm.
both good about like carving out that time to get our to-do task done, which is kind of one of our topics of like how do we organize our to-do tasks and assign ourselves responsibilities per se.
Yeah, I think after we did the first webinar together, which we weren't planning on making this into a business, as you guys know, it just kind of, snowballed and we were like, we could do something with this. Like people do like hearing from us, and our dynamic worked really well together in terms of teaching. So we kind of were like, okay, well, we know what our strengths and weaknesses are. We're going to be open and upfront and honest with those. And that just kind of like everything kind of literally just kind of fell into place. Like, well, I'm good at this, you're good at this, so you're going to be in charge of this, and I'll be in charge of whatever. And that's kind of how it worked out. So like being super clear with the stuff that we sucked at, the stuff that we were good at was really helpful for us dividing our task.
And just me being like systems oriented too.
Yeah.
That's kind of like my one true love. Like I can't imagine you also being systems oriented. That would be kind of like this weird like power pull of like, okay, who gets to do this? It's like when two type A people are married. I met a couple once and they were both type A and they both loved to plan things. And the wife told me, she was like, yeah, my husband and I have to take turns planning vacations. Like we can't plan it together because then it's a power struggle.
Yeah, I can see how that
Right?
would happen because everyone does things slightly different. So you're doing like the same task that you're both really passionate about, like our emails in ConvertKit, which I'm like, I do not want to do those. Like you have at it.
I know, and I love
it fires you up and like totally fine. I'm like, good, 'cause I want like when we were planning out the podcast. I think that was kind of the start of building this into a bigger business. I mean, I guess Biz Birthday Bash 2.0, basically the 2018 party thing. But then like the podcast was like, okay, we're going to continue this into like something that's there all the time and not just once a year. Like that was a turning point. And I just remember walking through Savannah and we were like, but if we did do like we talked for like 3 hours like nonstop over dinner about podcasts,
just walking around Savannah.
We did, because you were like, I really want to do this, and I was like, I don't know, like I'm worried about the time commitment, and we just like went through every aspect of what it would look like who would do what, and it all just kind of fell into place. And I was like, wait, I actually feel really good about this because you like already had a plan. Like, I was like, okay, this will totally be fine. But like we knew right away, like you were like, you should do blog posts. I was like, good, because that's what I wanted to do, like, and the graphics and all that stuff. And then you take control of editing the podcast, which I was like, I don't want to do that. So it was just funny the things that we do and don't want to do. The other person will just be like, yeah, I love that. So it just totally
right. That it works out super well. And if we ever get to the point where both of us don't want to do something, that's when we would give it to somebody outside.
Yeah,
the
somebody
scope,
else.
I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. They would be like, okay, like neither of us want to do this anymore. So it's like time to hire somebody else for help or figure something out. And we're both really open to that too.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
The funny thing about working together in a business relationship and why I feel like we've done pretty dang well so far is because we're both married and we've actually been married a similar amount of time. So I feel like we're kind of like learning the same communication and compromise, like things that we're learning within marriage that we can then apply to a business relationship.
Yes. We're very good about hearing each other out and being open to compromise instead of being like, well, this is the way we're going to do it because I think it's right. Because when you're married, you like learn that very quickly. Like you don't get to just pick what's right. Like you have to compromise and work together on issues. And so I think that just translates translates super well over into our business because we've already had that experience in our marriage.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
know.
excuse me.
Totally fine.
Okay, so we have a couple other things on here in terms of like questions like how does payment work? Because I'm sure people are super curious about that. Because you guys are nosy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so payment is obviously 50-50 with whatever we do. Like we just split it right down the middle. And we know like some companies do like 49-51 so that one person has like more of ownership over it. So like if they did come to a point where they couldn't make a decision, the person that's like, or this is like more like share in the company than I guess payment, but same kind of principle.
Right.
That person who had like the 51 would be like, well, I have a little tiny bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and make that decision. And we're like, no, we don't want that. Like, because we know that we have that much respect for each other that we wouldn't like need to do anything like that.
Like, one of us doesn't need to like override each other. Yeah, this was a big conversation that I had with my dad because he's had multiple partnerships like throughout his business experience. And he had one also with his best friend and was like, but he also said he admitted he was like, I think it's different for dudes because sometimes they just have to be able to have that bit of pull to be like, no, man, like we're doing it this way. But with us, we're like, no, you pick. No, you pick. Like,
yeah, like
it becomes the whole like you hang up first. No, you like.
I know. I think we can both kind of sense when the other person is like, no, we're doing it this way kind of thing. Like we'll hear the other person out, but you know, if it's not something either one of us feel strongly about, it's like, all right, do the circles. Like it's really like in the grand scheme of the business, it does not truly matter. So
yeah, it doesn't truly matter. And I think for me too, like being the more organized, like type A one, like understanding and realizing that for me personally, like you being part of the situation or the process or whatever, like if you have changes, it's only going to make it better. It's like not that you're changing something because you didn't like it. Because I know that when we worked on the Stationer Summit branding, I feel like we were on a call for like hours that day because we were just kind of going back and forth. Because I had put together kind of like original mood board concepts, et cetera, et cetera. And you came in and you're like, okay, I think we should switch this, this, and this. And at first I was like, oh, but I really like it. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so much better because we like both really collaborated on it. So like at the end of the day, like one of us putting down the foundation for the other and then the collaboration is like what it makes it really magical. And so you just have to like be okay with like hearing that, I guess. Like for Cammy to say to me, like, I'm not so sure about like the shape for this letter for the logo or things like that, to be able to receive like constructive criticism or input from your business partner without like flipping out, which I wouldn't have done anyways, but
I know. Well, I'm actually, I'm really bad about like, if I feel like there's going to be conflict, I'll just be like, well, okay, in normal other human interactions. But with you, I feel like I can actually speak my mind and like voice my opinion, and like you're not going to freak out on me. And like we have a really healthy way of working those things out. Now I feel like I'm in like a marriage counseling session or something. But
I know, but you know what I mean? I've always told you from the beginning. I've always said to you, I'm like, you need to be honest with me because otherwise I'll have Leslie Note moments where I just like steamroll people, because if I like get an idea, I'll just run with it. And so, yeah, because Cammy is more of the like passive one of the two of us, right? Like avoids Elizabeth conflict.
Big Elizabeth energy. I have emails that have 8,000 exclamation points and 42 smiley faces. And yes, so I'm very friendly.
And I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should remove all of them.
I'm like, well, let me at least put one just so they don't think we're total jerks.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I love how what you were saying earlier about like we build the foundation for each other, like whatever it is, like the idea or whatever, and then the other person just comes in and is like, yeah, I love that. Here's how we can make it better. And then we just keep like improving upon each other's opinion and each other's ideas. And then it just becomes like, it turns into something bigger than either one of us could have expected. Right? Like it's just so cool.
It's our JK Rowling magic. That's what we like to refer to.
Yeah, explain to everyone what that is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes Cammy and I will be working on a project and it'll like magically turn out amazing, and we don't even realize sometimes like how we did it or how we got to that point. And we're like, yay, we had a JK Rowling moment, because in our minds, JK Rowling is like the ultimate master of like story writing and amazing characters, and just like Harry Potter is one of Cami and I's like mutual favorite things, I would say.
And how it just like all came together, and like the fact that she started writing it on a napkin, so I feel like we're like writing on our napkins, and then all of a sudden it turns into like an amazing book kind of thing, because like we don't see the struggles behind it and like know what's actually going to happen once we actually get to that point. Then we're like, oh, the timing of this was even better than we imagined. Like we planned all this perfectly, like the way we set up our webinars, and then how that led into a podcast, and how the podcast leads into all these other business ventures to the Stationer Summit, and like they all just kind of build upon each other, but we didn't have that plan in place from the get-go. So I just feel like our friendship has been so blessed and so awesome, and I just love you so much.
Oh, I love you too.
But we are really similar though, in terms of we do say we're like the same person, but we also are so different. I think one of the things that helps us with our business is having that similar like end game in mind. Like we have a similar mission and values and ideas of what we want the business to be like, and what we see happening from it, who we want to impact, how we want it to impact people, that kind of thing. So having that shared mission statement that's like unofficial really helps us keep our vision aligned.
Yeah, that's so true, because I never really would have thought of it like as a mission statement before. Like, but you're right, it's kind of like our unspoken rule of what we're trying to do with Biz Birthday Bash, and where we want to see it go is still partly a mystery, but
like we know we want to like the tone and voice of our brand. Like we want it to be very approachable kind of thing, like just how we are, we want it to be inclusive, bringing people in, anyone who like we think anyone can be successful in this industry. And I think that like really plays across, like we both feel very strongly about that, and that just kind of like seeps into everything we do.
Yeah, exactly. Just being like encouragers for everybody. Yes. Okay, I'm going to loop back around like real quick to the payment thing too, just because somebody did ask a Q&K pretty recently about how we keep track of our finances for Biz Birthday Bash, and all that stuff. And I can't remember. I don't think I ended up choosing that for the Q&K that's coming up next episode, but I'm going to address it in this episode. So we keep the Biz Birthday Bash finances completely separate from our business finances. But the way that we have our LLC set up is that it's an S Corp. So like whatever we pay out of Biz Birthday Bash, we report on our taxes. Now I have to talk to my accountant, because like we're still figuring everything out, because we might still have to submit paperwork and some sort of like report for the LLC as well. But essentially, Biz Birthday Bash has like its own PayPal account, its own Stripe account. Like any of those payment processors are specific to Biz Birthday Bash.
Our own bank account and together.
Our own bank account, yeah. And then at the end of the month, like Stripe, that's when Stripe pushes the money into our Biz Birthday Bash bank account. And that's when Cami and I are like, okay, we're going to pay ourselves this much. And like Cami said before, it's 50-50. So we each like pay ourselves exactly the same amount from that account and just like transfer it to our business accounts and then report the income.
Yeah.
But I mean, we use GoDaddy bookkeeping for Biz Birthday Bash, so we have to like report all of that anyway before we like individually like pay for it. We're still figuring everything out, guys. This is why when you guys ask us things about like LLCs and sole proprietorships and taxes, we're like, you should just ask your accountant, because we have to ask our accountant stuff all the time. So
yes, exactly. And we do still keep some money in our bank account together for like funding further ventures, other ideas we might have, so that we don't like split it all 50-50 and there's nothing left in there. Like we still fund our business, like, and obviously paying all the, website hosting fees, podcast recording fees, all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I guess, do we pay something? Yeah. I don't know. Elizabeth keeps up with it. So I guess our plan is free.
When we first started, before we had any of that set up, we would like pay for it individually, and the other one would like Venmo the other person
Which-
half. That was like way back in the day.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay. Oh, yeah, especially when we were planning like our first webinar. I was like, okay, we're gonna split the cost of Crowdcast and then one of us would forget to like cancel the thing, and then we'd have to like call and get it. Oh my gosh. Probably got so confusing, but
Yeah, so then it was like easy once we got to the point where, yeah, I guess when was that? It was before Biz Birthday Bash 2018 where we really decided like, okay, let's get like at least PayPal and Stripe accounts, right? That are shared.
It was
so we
right
can track
before
stuff.
that, at least a couple months before that.
And then we did joint bank account, which literally feels like being married to somebody.
does.
It's so funny. I'm like, I have a joint bank account with Cami, but like I'm married to Will.
I know.
And we did that earlier this year. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Like the very beginning of 2019.
Yeah, we were
So,
like, we got to get it together because we're doing a lot more things this year. Obviously, everything in our business has grown slowly, but also steadily, I think.
yeah, for
Which
sure.
has been good for both of us. And plus, we both have our own other businesses too. So we're obviously huge supporters of each other's other businesses as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're like each other's
absolutely. I mean, we
cheerleaders.
have to be.
Yeah. I know.
Because I know I would say we spend just as much time on the phone talking about our individual businesses and clients and things we have going on that we do talking about like Biz Birthday Bash strategy and the Stationer Summit and all the things that we're putting together.
Yeah, pretty much anything related to our own business. It's just like we call and we're like, hey. And then anything related to Biz Birthday Bash, we're like, we're going to schedule a Q1 meeting. You know, like we make it more official.
I'm guessing whose idea that was. That was mine.
Like, or we could just call each other like we do every day. 5 times a day.
I know. It's good to have quarterly meetings to at least have time to really strategize. And that's only 4 times a year.
And then we end up changing them anyway. Yeah, the fact that we're both able to pivot really well and not be like, well, we planned this. Like, you are a planner, but you're also like not an idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be like, no, we're stuck to this plan. Like, you're very flexible and easygoing when it comes to like, if we do need to make changes and be quick about things, then we can do that. So
yes, that I would say that is the one thing for me in terms of being like type 1 Enneagram or whatever, is that I do have a lot of flexibility, which that type doesn't often like come with, as far as I understand. Because I was gonna say, we were also totally on the same page. Like, so after Q1, guys, like you probably remember that we were doing surveys about Photoshop and Illustrator. Is it okay that I talk about this, Cami? Okay. And we were doing that because we really wanted to offer some sort of educational material to teach on Photoshop or Illustrator. And that was like basically strategized in our Q1 meeting, like at the very beginning of the year. We're like, okay, we're going to do this. This is kind of going to be our thing this fall. Well, by the time Q2 rolled around, that had just changed for a multitude of different reasons. And the Stationer Summit was born, basically. We had talked about it like earlier in the year, but we were thinking, the Stationer Summit, like that would be 2020. And then kind of like all the stars aligned or whatever. Like we were like, no, you know what? Like this is going to happen this year.
Yeah, we basically were like, no, we're doing it now. And we literally got started on it now because we're like, we should do it this year. And everything changed.
Yeah,
we're like,
we should do it this year.
Yeah.
And so that's why nothing has really come out of like the Photoshop and Illustrator survey that we did. We're going to hang on to that information. Like we will use it eventually.
There is something down the road, possibly. Changed. You know, the other thing we talked about that I won't talk about right now, but later after Stationer Summit, we wanted to do something bigger and we kind of had to make that decision. Like, okay, are we going to move forward with what we planned or are we going to move forward with this other amazing, hugely ginormous idea that could be better than anything else ever imagined? And we're like, obviously, we're going to do the Stationer Summit. So the timing felt right.
Stationer Summit. Yeah, the timing felt right. And like the industry needs it, essentially. Like we've had that conversation with so many people of like, the industry needs this. The industry's growing really fast. Let's get a bunch of leaders together to really talk about things that people need to learn. And there's a whole episode dedicated to it. So if you didn't listen to it, you can go back or you can go to stationersummit.com to get all the deets. But anyways, that was like one of those pivoting moments for us, I guess. And remember when we kind of were texting and like came clean to each other? We were like, I don't know, like I'm not feeling great about like the Photoshop and Illustrator
like, when are we gonna have
now?
time to do all this? Like we have to get together to do it, basically, like the way we would. And we don't like to do things like half. We like to go full out, you know, like we do it. I'm very much a do it right or don't do it at all kind of person, as Elizabeth knows very well. Like, so
yeah, I'm there with you too. I think that's like our achiever
thing. Like, and I was like, we're not gonna be able to do it as right as we want it to be. Like we could still do it, but I wanted it to go more in depth. And I was like, it's not time, it's not ready. And we both were kind of feeling that. And so we usually are on the same brainwave. Sorry. And we were able to text each other. We're so brave.
Oh man.
And figure that out. But anyway,
I know. I think we were actually both super relieved too that we were on the same page, because we were like, "Oh my gosh, I wanted to talk about this, but I didn't know how you feel." We should have known that we were both probably feeling similar.
But also, we hold each other accountable too, which is really awesome. Like, if I'm feeling like, oh, I'm just not going to do whatever, like, but I'm like, Elizabeth is counting on me to do this. Like, we need to get it done, kind of thing, and like hold each other accountable to pushing each other to be better and like doing things the right way and taking extra steps and making sure everything gets done and like, you know. And make sure it's still within our voice and our brand and it all works out. So we definitely are pushing each other, but like not annoying each other, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, totally. Like, I can't really think of a moment I even like would have been annoyed, you know? I feel like that like word isn't part of like our friendship vocabulary.
You're so right.
Like, I'm like, don't feel annoyed by you. Like maybe like sometimes like a better word would be like, I feel stressed or overwhelmed that we're doing so much, but I don't feel annoyed.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I feel like I can be annoying. Maybe that's why I use the word, because I'll call you like 42 times and be like, I have a really dumb question.
No, I was the one who was calling you yesterday. I was like, I know you're at the gym, but do I use the word in or the word for? Like, I was writing up slides for the Stationer Summit for Instagram stories, and I couldn't decide. And Cami was like, I think they both work. Just go with what you already have. I was like, okay. But I just couldn't make the decision myself. I had to.
It is nice to have someone else to like either validate your decision or just be like, no, that's a horrible idea kind of thing. Although we've never said that either. I'm making up stuff, guys. Don't even listen to me.
No, that's not true. There have been times I think where we said like to each other, like, I'm not keen. I'm not like so sure about that idea.
Naming
like
a podcast episode, we're like, what was the one we were trying to do about email lists?
And oh yeah, we came up with all sorts of things.
And I was like, Elizabeth, that is the worst idea I've ever heard. Oh man.
And most of this all the time though is over the phone, so we're kind of like laughing, or sometimes we'll be sitting on the phone and like both typing on our computers and not even hear like
keyboards clapping furiously. It's really funny. But anyway,
okay. Do you want to? Yeah, I was gonna say, you've written down some awesome things for like action tips for other people who are maybe thinking about finding a business partner.
If I was to go out on the hunt for a business partner ever again, which I never will be, so because I found the love of my life, so how to find the Ben to your Jerry is what I wrote. So what you should look for if you're looking for a business partner. So number one would be integrity. Like obviously you want them to be a woman or a man of, you know, moral compass, have a good value, like understand worth and like have that integrity in place. Because you don't want to run a business with someone shady, obviously. Having a good that person has a good work ethic so that you're not going to be like when I was always in college and high school, like if I was the group leader, I just did all the work because I didn't like trust anyone else to do it right. I'm like, I'll just do it all. Like I just always volunteered to do the whole thing.
Yep.
So having a good work ethic, and that you can trust them, obviously, which we've talked a ton about, like that we trust each other. So you can just like let go of the reins and be like, yeah, I know you're going to do a good job. If not a good job, a better job than I would do anyway. So I'll trust you to take control of this. Having the shared vision and values, which we mentioned that we both have the same ideas of what we want our business to look like and how we want to run it. So that's super helpful. We don't really butt heads on anything like that at all. And then being compatible, but not being clones, which I think is really important. Like, yes, we're super similar and yes, we're very compatible, but we are so different too, which really, really helps to have different perspectives when you are planning different things for your business.
Do you know the way we're most different is the kind of TV
Oh, yeah.
and movies we watch, which is so funny because I'll be like, "Have you seen this and this and this?" And she'll be like, "No," and she'll ask me if I've seen something, and I'd be like, "Yeah, but
First
I
of
didn't like
all,
it."
how
Like
do
we
you not
don't.
like Jurassic Park? It is a classic. All of them. They're all classics, not just the first one, because I know what you're going to say.
Whoa! I never said I don't like Jurassic
You said
Park.
the new one was stupid.
Oh, okay. Yes, I don't like the new one. Of course, I like the original.
Okay,
That's a
also,
classic.
And
like,
Hocus Pocus. What about that? What about that?
I hate
How?
Hocus Pocus. Oh my god, I hate it so much, and it's so sad because I know you sent
I
it to me
bought
as a
it for
gift,
you.
and I watched it, and I was like, I don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know what happened there.
And that's when I think I had the realization when I told Will, I was like, Cammy and I are like definitely similar in some ways, but do not
Oh my
agree on our
gosh,
taste for
movies,
like
yeah,
entertainment.
No, we do not. I just don't understand how anyone could not like Hocus Pocus. Like, I'm literally trying to figure it out.
Thank God I'm married to Will because he doesn't like it either.
Alex doesn't
So
really like it. He's like, "This is dumb," but that's okay. It's just me.
I think you had to grow up with it, and the fact that I didn't, like, I think,
Yeah.
you know, I see it in a different
the
way.
library at, in my hometown literally gave me that movie because I just checked it out and checked it out and checked it out. And they're like, "Why don't you just keep this?" You know, I was like, "Yeah,
Really?
yeah." They were just like, "You know what? You just keep it," because every time it was due, I'd just recheck it out. Like, I had it all year and watched it. So, but anyway. So, okay, compatible but not clones. The next one, mutual respect and a genuine friendship. You know, I guess you don't necessarily have to be friends with your business partner, but I would imagine having that base would be way more helpful, like starting off as friends and then going into business partner. You know, I don't know if that's how everyone does it.
I know. I can't really imagine. Right, because you would think at least to be business partners, there's some sort of formal relationship, right? Like if you're doing business, like granted, I think I know hosts of like podcasts and a couple other things that they didn't know each other super well first and decided to do it together. Like Christina and Raina, when they did Creative Empire, they talked about this, like that they didn't know each other before and then became really good friends. But that also is a podcast and not a business. So it's like, you know, different situations. Like my dad was really good friends with his business partner.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think I could move. I mean, I feel like I would have to be friends with them, so it would be, tricky. I don't know. And then I wrote down someone who will disagree with you in a good way. So they're not just gonna agree with everything you say, and you know, nothing. You're not improving or changing. You obviously want to like keep pushing each other to grow and be tactful about the way you disagree, I guess. Like, but I don't, if like Elizabeth doesn't agree with me on something, it's not like a big deal to me. Like, we just figure it out and make it better. So
yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of like the maturity and definitely the whole like a marriage thing too, because it's like obviously we'll have disagreements like with our husbands and then but you still love each other, so it's just the same thing applies to this. And well, thank God like we didn't go with the original like station or summit I had chosen, because now I look at it like that my original like my ideas were great as a foundation, but what we came up with was so much better, because now I look at the old stuff and I'm like, oh gosh,
that wasn't
like you know, I'm really glad. No, that wasn't it. That's the thing. That's our big thing is like, is this really it? Like it in quotations, right? Is this it?
Totally. And then if you are looking for a business partner, my tip for you would maybe just go on a test run to see if it's a good fit long term. And I think we unconsciously did this. We JK Rowling did again with our first webinar that we did together, which we were like, okay, we're going to do this webinar. It'll be really fun. And we didn't have an end goal in mind, be like, this is the start of our business together. So pull yourself together, get your crap together. It was just like, we're gonna do this for fun. And it turned out so well. And then we were like, oh, we work really well together. Like, it was really fun. And to see the impact that made, like how many people showed up, like 500. And we were like, what the heck?
We definitely had 500 people like sign up for the webinar. And I think we had at least 300 live. So that's like
it kind of blew us away, because that was our first, I don't know, like dipping our toes into teaching together.
Yeah, that's when it was like completely free. And we just wanted to like celebrate having our businesses for a year and went to Savannah. And of course, we ended up doing something business related while we were there.
I know. What were we talking about? How, when you're like a little kid and you're like playing house together, it's kind of like what it feels like with us. We're like running a business together, but it's like even more fun because it's real. Does that?
Yeah, no, totally. Like when we were in Orlando, like last fall, because we couldn't go to Savannah because of Hurricane Florence.
Yeah.
We were like in Cammie's office and we were doing like a photo shoot for Biz Birthday Bash. So we had all this stuff all over her office. It was a huge mess. When Alex walked back in, he was like, "What is happening?" Because he was like out somewhere. But it was so fun because we were sitting there and it was almost nostalgic because we were like putting down, like stylizing all our things. And Cammie's like, well, what if we did this? Or what if it felt so like playing house. That was totally what it reminded me of. I actually made us stop, right? I was like, can you just stop for a second? I was like, do you know what this reminds me of? I was like, I feel like I'm a kid again because I'm just like having fun, or like just that. I think sometimes as adults we stop asking what if we did this? What if we did that? And you even talked about that in the copying versus inspiration episode, Cammie, just like asking what if more often and awesome. And I'm just like so thankful that you like continue to push me to ask that question, like it's fun running a business with you.
It is so fun. It is so much fun running a business with you. Like it's like a hobby, but also I'm like, oh, and we're making money. Like what is happening? Like it's just very cool.
Yay! The best
totally of both worlds. So, oh, this made me so happy. I'm just smiling like an idiot over here.
Me too. Talk about too this, like the article. Wasn't it from Adobe?
Yeah, so there's
is that the one you're referring to?
I don't know where the article was from, but it was just funny. These are the words that they used, but it was the same Adobe personality quiz. So we took this Adobe personality types. It was like your creative personality type quiz. You can put a link in the show notes for it so you guys can take it too. And mine was the visionary, which was like the big idea person, and Elizabeth was the producer, right? Is that correct? I can't remember the exact word, but pretty much like that. So, and I was reading an article about types of business partners that work well together, and it was like you need a visionary and an executor. So like the big idea person, the one who just brings a lot of spunk, and then like the get stuff done person, and like that's the type of like compatibility personality types that work super well together. And I was like, funny, these were our Adobe personality types, and it all just like makes so much sense. Like
it makes so much sense. And I would say too, though, because you said earlier, with the I'm the biz, you're the bash, but we have role reversal because it's like opposite.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is like.
But I take a lot of pride in my producer personality type.
I take a lot of pride in my my bash personality type. I mean,
yeah.
But I obviously you have tons of huge ideas, and I still have some sort of business sense. So obviously it all works out. But those are our strengths. Yeah. Yeah. So I think.
Are we done talking about ourselves?
Like such a gratuitous episode of us just being like, yeah, so we're awesome. And I'm sure people are thinking about, maybe getting a business partner, working together, or starting a podcast together. So I hopefully something sticks from this, and
Yes. Oh, we also forgot to mention, I guess we didn't talk about systems a ton, but if you guys are looking for a great thing with a team member that's maybe virtual, because Cammie and I aren't in the same city, we use Airtable. And this isn't sponsored or anything. We just use the free version of Airtable, but that's been awesome for us to like make to-do lists and stay on the same page and just like keep track of everything. And a lot of Google Drive and Google Docs.
Too many Google Docs on like all the different emails. And we also use Dropbox too for a lot of things. But Airtable has been a game changer for us. We recently started using that with the podcast and we love it. So it's very easy to collaborate on. And it's fun to see like instant changes on there.
I know, because if we're both on there at the same time, we can see what the other one's doing. Or if we're on a Google Doc at the same time, sometimes we'll like write notes to each other. We're totally doing. Okay, well, I think that kind of like wraps up everything. And if you are loving the Biz Bash podcast, please give us a review. Wow,
Oh
brain
God.
fart. Give us a review and what's the other word?
A rating and a review. Yes. And then, of course, don't forget to get your booty over to stationersummit.com so you can get on the waiting list so you can sign up and get all the awesome content from our amazing educators. It's going to be literally the educational summit of the next 10 years. That's how amazing it's going to be. But I'm super excited about it. So, and you can also follow at Stationer Summit on Instagram too, if you want to like keep up with things on there. But yeah.
Perfect. All right. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
Chop, chop, lollipop.
Hey there, fellow stationers. Are you creating custom invitations and still sending a lackluster contract that's hacked together with Google searches and generic templates? We've got you.
We've created a custom stationery contract written for stationers by stationers, and it is lawyer reviewed and approved. #LegalRockstar. The custom stationery contract covers every stationery snafu, protects you and your client's interests, and sets up an expectation of professionalism. We've combined our previous contracts as well as years of experience to bring you a contract that covers your booty and your biz. So become a put-together pro and breathe a sigh of relief knowing that you have a contract that is easy to understand and avoids confusing legal jargon.
The custom stationery contract is only $227, which is half of what you'd expect to pay anywhere else, and it's written by two gals who have seen it all.
Spoiler alert, it's us.
It's time for you to do things right. Go to bizbirthdaybash.com/contract to purchase and download your copy today.